So, let's wade into the Charlie Gard situation. I thought that it might be appropriate, first of all, to say how incredibly sad and sorry the whole situation is, and certainly sad situation for Charlie and his family. And what parent wouldn't want to die for their children? You would do anything you could to help your child. But let me just try and explain what mitochondrial depletion syndrome is. Within cells, there are several areas. Obviously there is, if you think of a cell as being like a balloon, within it is the nucleus, and that contains DNA, the fingerprint of who you are. It makes you who you are. Around that nucleus, within the contents of the cell, are various organelles, of which one of them is a mitochondrion, or plural mitochondria. Cells have between 2 and 200 mitochondria, except for red blood cells. They don't have any mitochondria. The derivation of mitochondria is interesting. The derivation is believed to be something called endosymbiosis, and a gazillion years ago, when we were but simple organisms, the cell, it is believed, couldn't produce energy for it to survive, this ATP, adenosine triphosphate. And somehow within it was included, or became included, a bacterium, which is the mitochondrion. And it's believed that the mitochondrion is a life form of its own, and it lives in symbiotic relationship with us, with humans, with our cells. And it can produce ATP, and it can produce energy, which is what the cell needs. The cell can't do it on its own, it needs mitochondria. So that's the crux of the matter. What is a mitochondrion? Well, a mitochondrion is the battery for your cells. The mitochondrion produces energy for your cells. The mitochondrion provides everything the cell needs in terms of powering it up. If it isn't there, it won't work. And within each cell are, as I say, between 2 and 200 of these mitochondria. Now, how many cells are in the human body? Well, the jury's out on that one, but it certainly is in the order of 30 to 70 trillion cells. That's 30 to 70 million cells. Let me just put that in context. When you look out at the night sky and look out at the stars out there, and bearing in mind we are in a galaxy called the Milky Way, within the Milky Way there are only 100 billion suns or stars. So what that means is that there are actually more cells in one human body than there are in the entire galaxy we live in terms of suns. That is a large number. And if you bear in mind that each of those trillions of cells have up to 200 mitochondria, there are thousands of trillions of cells, equivalent to 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 galaxies that you look at in the night sky. To try and recover the function of every mitochondria within each of those cells trillions of times at today's understanding of medicine is an impossible task. It cannot be done. It is extremely sad, but Charlie Gard, with current medical knowledge, unfortunately would never survive. It is a sad story, but it is true. My heart goes out to the parents and the family of Charlie Gard, of course they do. As doctors and nurses and medical staff and nursing staff and healthcare staff, this is what we aim to do. We aim to save life and prolong life, but at what cost? It is not surely just merely to prolong life. That is not what it's about. We have to think about quality of life as well. And that poor child would not have a quality of life. Meanwhile, hospital staff and the hospital itself have been receiving threatening emails and threatening texts, and certainly social media has gone crazy with this case. And I can understand the emotion out there, but I think there needs to be emotion based on fact. And hopefully I've tried to just clarify some of the biochemistry around what a mitochondrion is, how it works, and why it is important in the cells that we have.